There a couple of days have gone by, as we all saw, better performance. Unfortunately, what you're all aiming for was no end product, no end result for you.
Yeah, I watched it back yesterday. I've shown the lads some clips this morning, spent 3/4 an hour. The performance was good. You know, we're trying to play the right way. It just doesn't happen overnight. You know, and I could sit here and tell you what Carl Robinson said, but I'm pretty certain I suppose it does mean nothing. You know, we know we're heading in the right direction, slowly, but we're getting there. We've got to be better. We've got to be better. There's no getting on that fact. But you saw a group of players trying to play the right way, trying to do the right thing.
Recording stopped.
And you know, coming up a bit short, but they were trying to do the right thing. They weren't trying to lump it. You know, I said it was 50 minutes in, and
recording in progress.
Tom Lowry made a mistake, and there was some grumbling. And I'm thinking, don't get on them. You know, they're trying to do the right thing. You know, if we started whacking it, then you'd be complaining about no big man and all that stuff. I'm saying they're trying. They're really trying, and you saw that. They got the. You know, we made a couple of little sort of tactical things at half time, and it helped them. And you know, I thought you saw a committed performance that were trying to play the right way, that just come up a bit short. On another day, you know, they get all 3 points. Now that's where we are at the minute. But we've got to keep going, and we will get there.
Chris Porter didn't make it because of an illness, so when you just look around at what you've got, it's a very, very young set of players you're playing with, and training and coaching and sending out in a very highly competitive League One. They're learning the hard way, aren't they?
Yeah, that's. You just hope that they're not well scarred, really. You just hope that they are understanding of the process. Because, you know, you look at Conor O'Riordan, he's doing outstandingly well. You know, again, Carl mentioned him. You know, I think he mentioned him, Liam Richardson mentioned him. He's doing it exceptionally well. And you've got to remember, he's only 18. You know, so you look at players like that who are literally the first foray into professional football, and they're doing ever so well. You know, the second goal at Wigan, he gets nudged off the ball and he boots it in the air. 6 months' time, he gets nudged, but he boots it miles down the pitch as a clearance rather than just in the air. And that's the little journey that all these players are on, bar one or two. And we have to accept that. We have to accept that because that's where they are in their journey. And you know, we'll keep working with them and keep helping them and keep supporting them and keep giving them all the love and confidence they need to go out there onto the pitch and showed what they showed for large parts on Tuesday night. By the first 15 minutes, when I thought, so after the game, Oxford started really brightly, really well. But you got me, this is a team who are in the playoffs somewhere. And you know, after that, we were a better team. The first half was after the first 15 minutes was, you know, stalemate. Second half, we were by far the better team. By far the better team. And we needed a goal to reward that, and that didn't come. And you know, I understand that people might be frustrated. I get that, but then I go, well, you know, we are getting there. We are getting there. You know, we've dominated against a team that's in the playoffs, and we've got to make sure that continues.
They're right in the thick of the action, aren't they? This group of players. But I suppose that was all down to you had a high calibre side and squad for 2 years, and now it's all sort of unfortunately had to move on from that. It is a question for them, though, isn't it? This is the football club that gives them the opportunity, gives them the chance. It could be sink or swim time for them as well.
Yeah. Well, there's no other club in the whole country, probably the whole of Europe, that gives as many players, as many young players, as opportunity as us. I had one parent who said we don't get an opportunity. To be honest, it was laughable what he said. because we're the best club in Europe, probably the world for it. I don't know. There's no other club that does what we do. No other club. We provide the opportunity, but then there's a downside to that. There has to be a lot of support behind that, and you get inconsistency and mistakes, but you also get rewarded with some unbelievable stuff at the same time. Now that's, at the minute, it's a painful process. You know, it is a painful process, but you've got to stick at it, knowing that they can come out the other side. You know, when we first took over, it took us 2.5 years to get any form of consistency. Any form of consistency. They made a great 18 months. Then last year, on top, we're starting that process again. And you know, you can't fault the players. They're giving everything. You know, and when they're not, I'll tell them. I'll make it known. But that's, like I said, that's been a very rare occasion. They're trying their hardest to develop and to get better, and to win games of football. And we will do all we can to support them, and all we can to make them better players. And we've done it once, and we'll do it again.
As you pointed out, it's hurting for everyone, and you're open to the fans, and you know, shortly with the fans forum, and you're very close to your board as well, and your chairman. Do you have dialogue regular to talk over where you are and how you can get yourselves back on track, really?
Yeah, I speak every day to the chairman or one of the other directors is taking more of an active role now. So yeah, virtually every day I speak to the chairman. I think getting back on track is it's probably maybe not the right term. Not that we want to be on this track, if you want to use a railway analogy. But this is the cycles that we go in. That's I suppose it's fact. It doesn't mean we have to accept it. You know, because it's there's nobody more hurting than me. I don't want sympathy, and I'm not saying it for that reason. But we have got to continually get better. But when we will get it better, because we've done it before, and we'll do it again. You know, like I say, it took us a long time with Kirk. He didn't score for 50 games, 53 games. You know, people have got to understand that. You know, look where he is. He was a terrific player by the end. You know, Dale had to have 6 months on loan at Witton and Altrincham. You know, we're asking Conor O'Riordan, who's had a month at Kidsgrove, to play every game at the minute. You know, Zach Williams had a loan spell, for example. You know, we're asking a lot of players. You know, even the loan players. You know, Scott Robertson's 20, Raheem Alpha's 21. That's where we're at with the team, with the squad. So we've got to make sure that we develop them, so that when they do get better, as they get better, they become more consistent, they become better players, and if they do that, the performances will improve.
How disruptive has it been? I know you won't manage for making excuses because everybody has injuries, suspensions, whatever. But how disruptive has it been for you in terms of the injuries, the suspensions, the illnesses? You know, that you haven't been able to sort of. I can't remember when you've been able to say same again. Extremely
disruptive, but I haven't mentioned it because I don't want people to think it's an excuse. I think we've got 13 players out. It is what it is.
You're on a horrible winless run, as we all know. The record books are showing that on the social media. That will hurt you and everybody connected to the club. But the one thing that everybody has to do is have belief and stay positive.
Yeah. I think you saw a team certainly for 45 minutes, if not 70 minutes, produce a good performance. Did we do well enough in the final third? No, we didn't. That's the hardest bit. But they had a right good goal playing the way we want to play. I think the way the fans want to see us play. Certainly the way that gives us the best opportunity to develop players. And you know, we're committed. I think that always gives you belief and heart and all them things that you need every now and again to reaffirm. You know, a win would help. But you've seen players who are, you know, becoming better players for the process, for the coaching, you know, for the time at the club, you know, and that takes time. It does take time, but I do think we're improving. I do. You know, do you need wins to back that up? Yes, you do. You do. However, you've got to see it as a long-term thing and a big picture thing. You know, if Luke Hoffman was outstanding the other night, Conor O'Riordan was outstanding the other night. Not particularly because they defended well, they just did what they had to do in terms of start the moves off and pass the ball to each other and do the defending bit. You know, but you've got to remember, Luke Hoffman had spells at Witton for 3 months, and I think he went to Nantwich as well. And you know, it takes time for him to get used to it, and we're asking a lot for a lot of young players. And sometimes that belief does get knocked, but it doesn't. My belief in them players doesn't, because I know they're going to be good players, and I know they are good players. They've just got to probably have a bit more belief in themselves, and understand the process and the journey that they're on. And I think a lot of them do. They've seen, you know, their peers go on, and then they've got to put the work into themselves. We've got to put the work into them, and if they do that, then we're going to be fine.
Just finally wrapping up with Luke Hoffman, you had him in the captain's armband. There's been a few had the captain's armbands this season for you, but do you feel that's the next step in his progress, and how he reacts to all that? Yeah,
I thought he showed a real mature performance on Tuesday. He's had it before, and we went, you know, and we're trying to make him come out of his shell a bit more. He's not particularly quiet, but he's certainly not loud, and he sort of leads by action, a bit like Perry did, lead by action rather than lots of words. But I think as a centre half, you have to have a certain amount of vocal input into a game. So we're trying to instill that into him and make him become a bit more of a leader, because he's got a football brain. He understands the game. He's not thick football wise. You know, so we've got to make sure that he keeps doing that, whether he's got an armband or not, and hopefully that, you know, that kind of thing helps him to achieve that, helps him to develop that part of his game.
We spoke a lot about areas. You're giving, as always, your views openly. But the next port of call that you focus on is Cheltenham, and you'll know what's coming because it's a tight pitch, it's long throws, it's set plays. Yeah. You've got to deal with it.
Yeah. Like I say, we had a huge blip at Accrington. Since then, we've been good, really. You know, we've got to make sure that's part of our defence and our armoury come Saturday, because that's what it'll be.